Hi, I'm Mrs. Mapula, and today we're creating island sunglasses. Get ready to turn heads and paws with your very own handmade sunglasses. Whether you're lounging on an island in the sun or soaking up some rays with your pet, these shades will make you both the most stylish on the beach. Let's get started. The materials you'll need to create your island sunglasses include a thick piece of white or colored paper, pencil with an eraser, scissors, glue or glue stick, colored permanent marker, clear Ziploc bag, and then you have the option of bringing coloring supplies and or small trinkets such as stickers or beads to decorate your glasses. Let's go! Paper in half. You want to make sure you fold it hamburger style. So not the long ways, but you're going to fold it to meet the edges, and then you're going to add a crease. Once your paper is folded, you're going to take your pencil. You're going to start somewhat near the bottom, a little space up. You're going to draw a line all the way to the edge, and then it's going to curve. We're making the side of the sunglasses, so think of that shape. When you curve that line, you're going to make sure you draw it twice with a little bit of space in between. So you can see now that we have the side of one of our sunglasses. I'm darkening that line so you can see it well. Notice how it's connected at that folding line. It's got to be connected there. Once that's drawn, I'm then going to think about what shape I want for my sunglasses. And I'm just going to draw half of the lens. So think about whatever shape. So I'm drawing a pineapple. You might want yours to be a circle, an oval, a heart. Those are just a few ideas. But you're going to start with that shape, half of it, making sure it's connected at that center line again. But once you've drawn the outside shape, whether it's a heart, square, oval, that half, you're then going to go in and you're going to draw half of a circle on the inside. This is going to be where the lenses are, so it's important that you add that circle inside. After you add the shape, you are going to draw in about the same size of the side of the sunglasses you at the bottom, kind of like a square right there. Then you're going to get your scissors and you're going to cut out that shape. Now what's happening, because the paper was folded, it's what? Cutting out two pieces, not one. Pretty cool, right? Now that I have my two side pieces, I cut the inside so that it would turn into two. I'm going to put those to the side and kind of see how they're going to set up as for the glasses. I can also cut some space off. If I notice when I put it to the side of my head or tuck it in my ear, it's way too long, I could cut a little off the end if I need to. Then I'm going to go back in with my scissors and I am going to now cut out the shape of my lens. Now the pineapple's a little bit tricky. If you have a heart or square or circle, that might be a little bit easier. But I'm cutting out that shape. Once I have cut out the shape of my lens, I'm also going to go ahead and I am going to cut out that circle, making sure it's still folded, right? Once I've cut out that circle, don't get rid of the circle just yet, we're going to use it later. But now I have one of my lenses. You notice the squares that I added at the end? Those are important too. Now if you still have space at the top to continue to add your other lens, that's great. But if not, I just picked up my original paper and found some space where I could fold it in half, and I knew that my original lens would fit on top of that edge so that I then could trace it. We're tracing it so that we have exactly the same lens as we originally made. So what I'm doing is I'm going around and tracing the outside of that lens, and then I'm going to trace the circle. Once I have traced all of the original lens, I'm then going to cut out my second lens. So I'm going around the outside, making sure I keep that square, and I'm also cutting into that center circle. We're going to keep that center circle we just cut out, so don't get rid of that one. Once we have cut out our piece entirely, we can then lay out our pieces to start to decorate and piece them together. So awesome work. About how we can decorate our sunglasses. Each of us are going to be decorating a little bit differently, whether you're coloring, adding trinkets like beads or sequins or buttons. You want to make sure whatever you add is lightweight. So what I'm doing to decorate my pineapple sunglasses is I am kind of tracing a little top piece. The reason I'm tracing that top piece and cutting it out is so that I can use it to make kind of like the green leafery at the top of the pineapple. Now, are we all decorating our sunglasses exactly the same? No, but I'm showing you kind of how I go about the process. So you might just be using your coloring supplies right now, or you might be doing something similar where you're cutting and gluing and then putting on accessories. But either way, right now we're using this little bit of time to decorate our sunglasses a little bit, and then we're going to be kind of piecing it all together. So go ahead and use this time to do that. Be careful of is when you're decorating the sides of your sunglasses, notice how one of my sides is flipped down. You can see the curve going down, and then notice the other one is flipped over so that the curve is up. And then I'm going to decorate the sides. If both of my curves are facing down or both of my curves are facing up, it will not piece together correctly, and one of your decorations will go on the wrong side. It will be against your face or your head versus on the outside. So make sure they're flipped opposite when you decorate these. Ziploc bag. We're going to use our Ziploc bag to create the lenses in the sunglasses. So what I'm doing is I'm also taking those two circles we kept in the beginning that we cut out of our lenses, and I am going to make sure I have an area on my bag. I've cut out a clear area, and then I have placed these circles on top, and that way I can trace. Now I'm going to use my Sharpie to trace. Remember, we're using a color Sharpie here, but I grabbed my black marker so you can kind of see it, but feel free to use whatever color Sharpie you were able to gather. And I am kind of tracing around the circle, but you want to make sure you give a little extra, you see that extra space? So I'm not tracing it right up against the edge. The reason for this little bit of extra space is because later on we're going to be gluing the lenses onto the glasses, and we want to make sure we have a little bit of glue space, is what I like to call it. So I traced around it, but not right up against the edge. I put a little space around it as I traced, and then I'm getting my color Sharpie of choice. I kind of practiced and looked to see, which of these color Sharpies would look best with my design, and I decided on the yellow. So now what I'm going to do with my color Sharpie is I'm going to color in completely inside of these two circles. Now when I color in completely, I could always go back in and add a little bit more color if I need it, but this is going to be kind of the tint of the inside of your shades, your glasses. As my lenses are drying, I'm now going to glue and piece together my sunglasses, my frames. So I'm putting a center dot on that square in between the lenses, and then I'm going to press it. So a dot, not a lot of glue, and then I'm going to hold it together. Now the secret to glue is you want to press and hold tightly, firmly in place, and then you're going to allow it to sit still. Now if I sit and move it around, wiggle it, it's going to not dry together. Okay, so dot, not a lot, then you're going to press and hold still. Once I have pressed and held still the center, I'm going to allow that to kind of sit on its own and dry. And then I'm grabbing the sides of my sunglasses. Notice the design is going to go towards the outside, and then I'm pushing in a little flap towards the inside. Okay? Once I have that little flap, it's going to give me space to now glue, and I'm going to do the same thing to the other flap. So you can see how they would fit on. So design to the outside, flap goes towards the inside. Now we have two little square flaps on each of our sides of our glasses. Once those are folded, I'm flipping over my sunglasses so I'm on the back side of the lenses. And now I'm going to put down a dot of glue. Once again, dot, not a lot. And then I'm going to press in that flap I folded. Going to hold it in place there, press together firmly without wiggling or shifting, holding it still. I'm smushing very well, very hard. Holding it in place. Once that's firmly in place, I can then leave it alone, allow it to dry well. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Dot, not a lot. Push into place. Firmly squeeze together without wiggling or shifting, and hold still so that it can kind of dry a bit together. Get those color circles back. We are going to cut out each of these circles. You want to make sure as you cut that you stay closer to that bigger outside circle. Remember, we traced it bigger, so you don't want to cut in too close in your circle. And you want to be careful because the Ziploc bag can be a little flimsy, so cutting those out big with that extra space around. Once you have cut out these two circles, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to take your glue onto the back side. Make sure it's the back side, the inside of your sunglasses. And you're going to put a circle right around the inside of that rim. So you can see the opening. Right just around that opening, I'm putting a thin circle layer of glue, and then I'm going to take the circle and I'm going to gently kind of push it into the glue so that it can dry. And then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. And I'm going to push that in as well. And now we have our colored lenses in there. Now you want to give this time to dry, so press and sit. Remember, let it stay still. Once they have had plenty of time to dry, you're all set, and I can't wait until I get to see your island sunglasses.